Had some fog earlier this morning. Those foggy conditions will come to an end as mid-morning comes about. Then we are waiting for showers and a potential rumble of thunder as we head into the afternoon and evening.
All right, coming up this morning on DC News Now, firefighters injured in a blaze. We'll tell you what investigation into the case is telling us this morning. And a woman stabbed at Union Station, her condition, and the latest on the investigation. And the Commanders with the chance to punch their ticket to the postseason. What the Burgundy and Gold need to do to get the dub against the Falcons.
You're watching the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Hey there, everyone. Good morning. Thank you for joining us here on DC News Now. Your time, it is 8 o'clock. I'm Tosin Fakile. It's Sunday, December 29th. Welcome to the last Sunday of the year 2024. We're almost at the end of the year, and it's not the prettiest start to the day for you. Let's head on outside with a live look over Roslyn right now. It's looking a little prettier than it was earlier this morning. I guess as the sun is coming up, it's looking a little less dreary, but there's rain in our future. Let the expert tell you. Meteorologist Derek Bourne joining me on the desk. What are we dealing with today? Because we have a big game today. The Commanders play later on.
We do, and you want to pack a poncho for that game indeed, but we're starting to see the fog burn off across portions of Washington. However, there are still some areas off to the west that are seeing those dense fog conditions onwards into the top of this hour. So we're going to continue to see the fog, but then we're going to see the winds start to come on in, and we're going to see those wind gusts potentially in some higher elevations up towards 50 miles per hour with those gusts. We're looking at temperatures across the region into the 40s and 50s, almost 60 in Fredericksburg at this current hour at 59 degrees. Awfully warm out there for today with those temperatures going into the 60s, if not 70s. And we've already seen a pretty good dosing of rain, seeing up to an inch in some spots, but a lot of us seeing at least a good quarter of an inch or so. And we have, of course, the opportunity to see even heavier rain as we head into this afternoon, going into this evening with the potent cold front coming that brought tornadoes across the south yesterday. We're looking at, of course, winds right now relatively calm here and there, but we're starting to see those pick up down towards the south, towards Fredericksburg, as well as Lexington Park, Annapolis, even seeing some winds along with it. But the fog right now is mainly concentrated along the I-81 corridor.
All right, Derek, thank you. 8:02. Here's what yesterday looked like. Today was not the only day we saw rain. We saw rain yesterday. It was a dreary and gray Sunday. This is Saturday, I'm sorry. This is video from Alexandria waterfront in Old Town. A lot of umbrellas, puddles, and obviously the rain coming down. And that bad weather was not just here in the DMV, but across the country. Here's video of some unpleasant weather in Mississippi. Take a look at your screen. The video shows a suspected tornado crossing a highway in the south part of that state. This is severe weather has been pummeling parts of the American Southeast the entire weekend. 8:03, developing out of Virginia. Prince William County Police are investigating after a man was found laying in a road. Officials say they got a report of a man in the road at the intersection of Dale Boulevard and I-95 North. Tyrone Bland of Woodbridge later died at the hospital. Bland's cause of death still under investigation. If you have any information, you are asked to contact police. In the district, 3 firefighters recovering after battling a huge blaze in Northwest. That fire broke out last night along the stretch of 9th Street near P Street. DC News Now's Dave Laval has the latest on that investigation.
Firefighters got the blaze under control in about an hour. It started inside the same 2 empty church-owned buildings. Firefighters responded to another blaze just 5 months ago.
Firefighters battled flames, a cold rain, and heavy smoke as they worked to put out the fire along 9th Street near P Street in Northwest Saturday afternoon.
Well, I believe 6 buildings in total were impacted by the fire.
100 first responders from 20 units battled the blaze. DC Fire and EMS says they're working to determine the cause, but know it started inside one of the 2 buildings owned by Shiloh Baptist Church before fire and smoke spread to the others. Still no word from investigators if anyone was inside the empty buildings.
Anytime that we have fire, right, the public is always at risk, and we're always concerned about that.
Fire broke out of the same two buildings back in July. Another fire has neighbors upset.
Yeah, frustrating.
Ken Rogers has lived across the street for the last 27 years. He's not happy with his neighbors.
It's just taking care of the properties, being a good neighbor.
DC first responders got some help as Montgomery County firefighters filled in at district firehouses, while firefighters responded to 9th Street.
3 firefighters suffered minor injuries as they battled the flames. In the Shaw neighborhood in Northwest, Dave Laval, DC News Now.
And DC News Now reached out to Shiloh Baptist Church, who owns the properties, for comment. We haven't heard back yet. In Maryland, Montgomery County officials say one person is without a home after fire in Montgomery Village. The fire broke out on Maple Leaf Drive Friday night at about midnight. They say the fire started on a first-floor kitchen, and the house did not have sprinklers or a fire alarm. One person was hurt in the flames. Officials estimate damages worth $250,000. In the district, police are investigating a shooting in Southeast. Officials say it happened on Elvins Road, just off of Suitland Parkway. Right now, there is no description of a suspect. If you have any information, contact police. And a man is in custody for allegedly stabbing a woman at Union Station. Officers called to the scene at about 1 p.m. yesterday. When they arrived, they found a woman injured. She was taken to the hospital with serious injuries. Amtrak police now handling this investigation. A D.C. animal shelter says it's out of space and is in desperate need of help. Humane Rescue Alliance in Northwest says it needs at least 100 dogs fostered or adopted before the end of the year. Fostering is currently free and adoption fees drop to $25. If you'd like to get a dog for yourself, you can check out how to go about doing that by visiting our website, dcnewsnow.com. All right, in some sports news, the Washington Wizards losing a heartbreaker in overtime to the New York Knicks. Knicks star Jalen Brunson dropping 55 in that win, 9 of those points in overtime. Now, while the Wizards did not pick up the win last night, the team does seem to be improving after going winless in November. The Wizards will be looking for revenge when they play the Knicks again. Tip-off 7 p.m. at Capital One Arena. To hockey now, where after over a month, the team captain, Alex Ovechkin, finally made his return to the ice. Last night's game against the Toronto Maple Leafs was Ovi's first game since his leg injury in mid-November, and the Caps took the win in that game 5-2, with the 39-year-old scoring a goal, getting closer to that record of most goals of all time. Now, in response to the goal, Ovi says it's nice to be back on the board. And tonight, it's win and clinch for the Washington Commanders. The Commanders will host the Atlanta Falcons tonight. Sunday Night Football, a win for the Burgundy and Gold, and they're in the playoffs for the first time since 2020. It will be the battle of the rookies with Jaden Daniels and Falcons QB Michael Penix. Craig Hoffman from the Team 980 talks about what the Commanders need to do to get that win and their ticket to the postseason.
Key to the game for the Commanders is to not let Bijan Robinson have any explosive runs. He is one of the most prolific backs in the league at making people miss. And so you have to be gap disciplined and you have to rally to the ball. So if he makes one guy miss, okay, as long as there's a second guy there ready to clean that up. So rallying to the football, being really disciplined, taking good angles. The Commanders have actually been the 5th best team in the league when it comes to missed tackle rate this year. So they are tackling very well. And then keep Bijan Robinson contained, which then turns Michael Penix into a drop back one-dimensional passer. And I think key number 2 is get pressure on Penix. He's just never faced it in the NFL. This is only his second start. In the first game against the Giants, he was able to get the ball out very, very quickly and basically face no pressure. So he has never faced a real NFL, pressure pass rush as a drop back passer where he has to make plays to win the game. And so the third element of that would be make sure that he's got to make plays. If you can score a little bit on offense, play that complementary football, take advantage of an Atlanta run defense that is very, very not good, we'll say, and a pass rush for the Falcons that is basically non-existent, and just drive the ball down the field, put a ton of pressure on Atlanta's offense, and then let those first 2 keys kind of come to life. I think that's a formula for not just a win, but potentially a big win for Washington on Sunday night. And of course, if they do that, they will be off to the playoffs.
And off to the playoffs is the outcome we want for this game. That game, at Northwest Stadium, kickoff is at 8:20 tonight. And we know it's going to be packed as the Commanders chase the playoff and clinching that. So, Derek, as people make their way to Northwest Stadium later on tonight, are they going to have to sit in the rain? Are they going to have to bring the poncho? What they need to know?
They are definitely going to have the rain gear handy. The good news is it looks like the Storm Prediction Center has pushed the severe risk down to the south, given that we had a good bit of rainfall this morning as well as the cloud cover over the DMV right now. That is pushing the SPC to push the severe weather further to the south towards Richmond and across the Carolinas, where they're seeing a little bit of sunshine this morning and some more unstable atmospheric conditions. We have a bit more stable atmospheric conditions here due to that rainfall this AM.